Hello students, in this vlog we are going to discuss about the human endocrine system. Only the endocrine part we are discussing as per I have told you before also. So here if you will see, the endocrine system is of two types, that is the pure endocrine system and partially endocrine system. Okay, so pure endocrine system is entirely working for the secretion of hormones. As per we are knowing that endocrine gland is a ductless gland and releasing its secretion directly into the blood, and they are secreting the true hormones. Okay, so entirely this pure endocrine system is working for the secretion of the hormones, which is the pure hormones. But on the contrary, if you will see, the partially endocrine system are partly endocrine as well as they are functioning as an exocrine type. Hence it is termed as the partially endocrine because their function little bit matches with the exocrine also. Some of the example of the pure endocrine system is hypothalamus gland is there, pituitary gland is there, thalamus gland is there, adrenal is there, then parathyroid gland is there. Okay, pineal gland is there. So various type of gland is there. Few is mentioned here. Okay, on the contrary, we will see the partially endocrine glands, which is functioning as endocrine also and little bit as a exocrine also. Okay, so placenta is there. Placenta, we are knowing that is the connection between the mother and a developing embryo. Okay, next is the heart and gastrointestinal tract is there. These are the few names of the partially endocrine system. Okay, next topic we will see right now. Student, now let us start with the structure and function of endocrine glands. So first of the gland, let us see, that is the hypothalamus gland. Hypothalamus gland is present in the brain. We are knowing that in the junior classes also we have studied about this. Spiritually it is termed as the seat of the soul. It is termed, spiritually it is termed as the seat of the soul. This hypothalamus gland regulates the various glands present in the body. It is regulating, basically stimulating the pituitary gland. Further we will come to know that pituitary gland is known as the master gland. Even though it is known as the master gland, this hypothalamus gland is the father of that gland also, we can say, because this gland is stimulating the pituitary gland, and if the pituitary gland is the known as the master gland, then of course it is major than that also. Okay, so let us study about this hypothalamus gland. Location we will see first. It is present at the basal part of the diencephalon. Okay, and diencephalon, if you do remember in the 10th class we have studied it as a part of the forebrain. Forebrain. Okay, it is a part of the forebrain. Next is the origination, that is developed from the ectoderm of the developing embryo. Okay, student, we are knowing that the fusion of sperm and ovum. I will explain you here in a short. Suppose fusion of sperm and ovum. This is the sperm and this is the ovum. Okay, this is sperm and this is ovum. This both are fusing together to form zygote. Suppose it is a zygote, and we are knowing that this zygote gets divided into so many cells, right? So this zygote will divide further to form the embryo. So many cells will be formed. Okay, so this is termed as the developing embryo, not developed embryo, but it is termed as the developing embryo. So we will say this is a developing embryo. So when the zygote divides, when it divides itself into 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16, 16 to 32 cell structure. So during that time what will happen after the division? These cells are arranging them. Okay, what we are discussing, how we have come. Just like from the father and mother the fusion took place, and we originated first as a single celled zygote. Then that single cell within us, one individual is in the form of zygote single cell. Now that cell will divide continuously 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16, 16 to 32. Mitosis division is taking place. As soon as this mitosis division is taking place, what will happen in the maybe till the 32 cell division structure, this are arranging, this mass of cell is arranging themselves into 3 layers. Okay, what is this 3 layers? Let us see, suppose the cells are arranging them into the 3 layers. Okay, inside is known as the endoderm, then mesoderm, middle one is known as the mesoderm, whereas the outermost is termed as the ectoderm. Okay, it is termed as the ectoderm. So this 3 layers is the layer of zygote, or the number of cells where the embryo is being developed. So here in 32 cell structure, or the mass of the cell when the zygote divided itself into various cells, so this is arranging them into the 3 layers. Okay, as per I have told you, endoderm, mesoderm and ectoderm. Inner one is the endoderm, middle is the mesoderm and outermost is the ectoderm. So what will happen right now, student, after this division, after the formation of this layer, arrangement of cells in 3 layers which is taking place, there the name of it is like this. Okay, so these 3 different layers will give rise to the different organs of the body. Ectoderm, that is the outermost, hence it is resulting in the formation of outermost organs, just like the limbs is there, hairs is there, eyelashes is there, nose strip is there. Okay, so this is responsible. Then brain is there. So this ectoderm is responsible for the formation of those external type of organs which originate outside. Okay, mesoderm, that is responsible for forming those type of organs which is internal, as well as endoderm is also responsible for the formation of the internal most organs. Okay, I hope it is clear to you people that the zygote after division is forming the 3 layers. The mass of the cell is dividing itself into the 3 layers: ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. Ectoderm will result in the formation of outermost organs, mesoderm internal organs, and endoderm also will result in the formation of the innermost organs. Okay, so in this way they are resulting in the formation of various organs. So definitely here, if we are talking about the gland, so this would have originated from any of the layers out of this, isn't it? So this hypothalamus gland is formed by the ectoderm. Alright, so here the term is developed from the ectoderm of the developing embryo. Why we are saying this as a developing embryo? Because the zygote is formed and then the mass is the zygote is dividing into the number of cells, that is forming the mass of the cell, and it is dividing into various layers so that it can differentiate into various organs. Okay, so hence it is formed within the developing embryo through the layer which is ectoderm. Okay, next we will see the structure. The structure, if you will see, it is composed of nervous tissue, or obviously it is present in the brain, so it is composed of nervous tissue. Next is has a connection with anterior pituitary. Pituitary, we will see further, it is having 3 portions. Pituitary itself, which is the smallest gland in the endocrine system, and is having 3 portions. Anterior is there, posterior is there, and intermediate portion is there. So this thalamus hypothalamus gland is attached to this pituitary gland through a duct which is termed as the hypophageal portal. Okay, hypophageal portal is there. It is a duct which is connecting to this hypothalamus gland to pituitary gland. Anterior pituitary portion is attached to this gland. Hypophageal portal is there. Okay. Next we will see the hormone secreted by this hypothalamus gland. Okay, so now we will see the hormones secreted by this hypothalamus gland. Okay, two type of hormones it is secreting. One is termed as the releasing hormone, whereas the another one is known as the inhibiting hormone. releasing hormone is the hormone which is released and is stimulating one or the other function. But on the contrary, we are looking here inhibiting hormones. Inhibiting hormones are those hormones which is inhibiting this inhibiting the secretion of the other glands. Okay, so these are the hormones which is inhibiting the secretion of other gland, so that that particular gland secretes the hormones in the appropriate amount only, which is utilizable. Only that much secretion it will do. Okay, that function is processed. Okay, so it doesn't allow the excessive secretion of that. Means it gives the signal to that particular gland that now you have to stop your secretions, so that further no problem takes place. Okay, or the cyclical changes are also there, or sorry, cyclical processes are there, so that needs to take place in a regular interval of time. So if the hormones is secreted regularly, then how that cyclical period will occur? So in one or the other time, the secretions has to be inhibited for a while period of time. Okay, so first is the releasing hormone GnRH, that is the gonadotropin releasing hormone. From the name itself, it is clear that it is regulating the gonads. Okay, so how? Let us see. Stimulates the anterior pituitary. Yes, of course, that first of all it is giving to the signal to the pituitary gland, so that it becomes activated, it becomes stimulated, so that it can release those type of hormones which will regulate the gonads. Okay, so it stimulates the anterior pituitary, anterior portion of the pituitary, to release hormones just like gonadotropins. Okay, gonadotropins, the name of the hormone is gonadotropins, and gonadotropins example are FSH, LH. FSH is the follicular stimulating hormone and LH is the luteinizing hormone. This is secreted in both male and female, and is helpful in the reproduction process because it is stimulating the gonads for the formation of gametogenesis and for the formation of ovum, and as well as facilitates the menstrual cycle in the female. Okay, next one, inhibiting hormones. Hormones that inhibit the release of pituitary hormones. Basically, it is mentioned inhibit the release of pituitary hormones. Okay, for example, somatostatin. Somatostatin is a kind of hormone which inhibits the growth hormones secreted by pituitary gland. Pituitary gland secretes the growth hormones, due to which an individual height is growing, but at a limited time that secretion has to be stopped, so that the height doesn't go beyond and beyond and beyond, because it can lead to xantism, and even if it is secreted in minimum amount, then it leads to the dwarfism. We will see in the pituitary gland this all which excessive secretions and low secretions, what it is resulting from. Okay, so somatostatin is a kind of hormone which will regulate the pituitary gland, or which will inhibit the pituitary secretion, and that secretion is the growth hormones. Okay, this inhibition is also important, so that no excessive amount of hormones is secreted. Alright. Okay, then next we will see about the further hormones, how it is helpful. Okay.